Hello and welcome back to my channel. I figured today we would go over all of the comments and questions that are in my comment section on Grabovoi codes. So we're gonna dive into it. Has anyone shifted realities with shifting codes? To my knowledge, no, because a lot of the people who I know who have used the codes don't use them to shift realities. The only person who I know has like quantum leaped is my friend Lindsay, but she used a separate meditation. So it didn't involve Grabovoi codes at all. So I hope that answers your question. Without activation process and without pray, only write Grabovoi numbers on water bottle will be work. You know, that question really didn't make sense to me, but I'm gonna wing it. Without activation process and without pray, only write Grabovoi codes on water bottle will be work. I'm gonna go with no on that one. You, at least in my experience, like I have to like journal them out and I have to, set an intention with them. It's not just like writing it on your water bottle and then it's gonna work, at least in my experience. Everybody's had a different experience, so if you've had a different experience, by all means, if you want to contribute to the conversation and add to that answer, please go right ahead. All right. This is the first time I've ever heard of these codes. It kind of blows me away because in spiritual circles like churches, it's like these things are hidden. Anyway, I found a TikTok video talking about it and searched on YouTube and found your video explaining. Thank you, very interesting. Thank you. I appreciate that comment. That's a very nice comment. Question, aside from the creator, has anyone seen success with using these numbers? I read online about Grabovoi and I don't want to be misled. Well, what you've read online is true. But there have been a lot of people who have had success with these numbers outside of myself and outside of my friends in my friend circle. I have taken a huge step back from these codes because I don't necessarily align with the creator of them, and so that's why I don't really cover much about them anymore. But it is still like one of the top search things when it comes to like my YouTube channel. So that's why I figured I'd do a quick one-off, because the idea came to me the other day and I was like, this kind of feels good, so I'm gonna do it. And then that way I kill two birds with one stone. I, give you something that you're interested in watching in, and then I can also put a video up because I haven't done that in a while. So yeah. A lot of people have seen success, yes, but I don't really talk about them anymore because that stuff that you read online is true. So I don't really like talking about them anymore. I've very much shied away from them, and I am interested in going into other content, astrology, human design. I've touched on human design a little bit in my past videos. I've dug so much deeper into it over these last 2 years, and I'm excited to incorporate more of that into this channel as well. You are a PhD in Grabovoi codes. Thanks. I'm gonna like that comment. I wouldn't say that I am, but okay. You have to activate the codes and properly use them. You have to explain exactly how to use the codes, activate and attract, and write them on the inside. Okay. Yeah, no. I didn't need to do that the specific way that this particular commenter was talking about. I just journaled them out and I set an intention with them, and it manifested into reality. So I didn't need to do anything like writing them in the air 20 times a day. I wrote them 10 times in a journal, and then I was like, this is the intention I'm going to set behind this. This is what I'd like to manifest. And like, I just wrote all that stuff out in my journal. That was it. Pretty simple. I created I captured my process and I like put it up as a digital download way back when this first was a thing. It's not available anymore because I got a lot of pushback on it, and I was like, I don't want, I don't want to stir it and ruffle any feathers. So, however you decide to activate them is however you decide to activate them, in my experience. You don't need to do anything specific. You could literally just write in your journal, set an intention, and then write what it is that you're looking to manifest. Done. Where can I get the inner code? The notebook website is not opening. The inner code is a Facebook group, and you can get access to that in, I think it's in some of my prior videos description area. It'll literally, it just says like Facebook groups / or / the inner code. I haven't really been in there in a really long time. I think the last time that and not necessarily a really long time, the last time I posted in there was May. So there is some stuff, but again, so much happened around this that I'm like, I've taken such a massive step back, because it really wasn't, it wasn't what I was going for at the time. It kind of just like fell into my lap, and I feel like part of me is like, I didn't really know what to do with it. It was like massive success in like an instant, and so I shied away from it because I was afraid of it. But I actually feel like what I'm seeing now over the last 2 years of a lot of inner work, a lot of learning, a lot of unlearning, and a lot of just overall events that have conspired in life, or transpired in life, however you say it. I'm starting to find myself come a little bit more back into the inner realm, so to speak. Not necessarily Grabovoi codes, again, not that, but more, again, astrology, human design, intuition. I've actually considered getting my Reiki certification, so that all has nothing to do with the inner code, but it still kind of does at the same time. Okay. Let's see. Do you still use these codes, and can you do a follow-up video on these? The money codes bring in very little, it seems. Financial codes. I'm probably not going to do a follow-up video on additional codes, just because there are only so many codes, and literally you can Google them. You don't need me to give you codes. But yeah, no, I don't use the codes anymore. In fact, I use a different manifestation method, and a lot of it has to do with all of what I've learned about in human design and which way your arrows are facing in your chart, if you're specific or non-specific manifester. And so that has a lot to do with how I've been able to bring in a lot of money in my world. I just recently, this past month, brought in $19,000. So yeah, it works. But it doesn't always work in the way that you want. Okay. So, that's why you have to kind of know which way your arrow is pointing, and know which way is which, if you're specific or if you're non-specific for yourself. And that's how you are going to attract things into your life. At least in my experience over the last 2 years. What number code did you use? Honestly, I don't remember. If it was in the video, I would suggest rewatching the video. They are called sequences, not codes. Awesome. Thank you for pointing that out. Let's see. I have a lot of comments right here on my social media reels. These are all, they have to do with like TikTok or clients or whatever. Okay, how do you know if the code is correct if you get them from Scribd or Healing Numbers? I have books with the numbers which were translated from the originals, which I trust more than the aforementioned sources. That's fine. If that's what you trust, then I would go with that. I think a lot of it has to do with what you believe. And if you believe that that is what's going to bring you more of what it is that you're looking for, then I would use those. At the end of the day, this is all a subconscious thing. If you put your belief into it, it will give you what you're looking for. If you don't put your belief into it, you're not going to get what it is that you're looking for, because it really just all comes down to what you believe. Let's see. Why hasn't she replied to any of your comments? I'm just curious because I use codes and now I'm worried. Well, I haven't replied to my comments because I'm busy. I feel a lot of, I don't know that regret is the right word, but I feel bombarded and overwhelmed with a lot of questions that I'm really not interested in answering, because all of these questions can be answered through Google or through a book that I didn't even write. So that's why I don't answer a lot of these questions anymore, because I don't like it. To me, it's not worth, like, it's not worth a lot of the energy that comes with it. So that's why I don't answer them anymore. Can I use a code for my son? Yes. You can use a code for whoever you want. If he doesn't believe, then he's not going to see the success that either of you want for him to see. It all has to do with belief at the end of the day. What you believe is what's going to come to fruition. There's this movie that I saw a very, very long time ago. And the quote that the kid said is, believing is seeing. Seeing isn't always believing. Okay. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because when you believe, have faith in something, then it comes into the external world as whatever it is that you believe, right? Money, a better looking body, a relationship, a job, whatever, okay? When you believe that you can get it, you will receive it in the tangible 3-dimensional world. When you see it in 3D, that doesn't always mean that you believe it to be true for yourself. The only way for you to bring it into your 3-dimensional world is if you believe it first. It's the premise of everything. Believing is seeing. Seeing isn't always believing. Cool? Cool. Hey Fallon, what do you know about the man who created this? I've been reading, I've read something about him this morning, and this is not so nice. It is not so nice. That's why I don't talk about it anymore. Are there codes effective for reciting for loved ones? Oh, are the codes effective for reciting for loved ones? I don't really know. I've never used it on another person or for another person. However, what I do know is that no matter what, it comes down to the belief that you hold, the intention that you hold when you are using or trying to manifest at all, whether it's with these codes or any other method. So are the codes effective for loved ones? Maybe they are if you believe. That's another thing I feel like I'm hitting home on a lot with these comments. Let's see, where did you get the codes from? Google. And there's a book that he wrote, and I'm pretty sure at the time when I looked at it, it was like you could open up the book and you can get some of the codes. I think some of the pages were free. I don't know that it's still free. It may be under a paywall. So that is where I got those codes. Let's see. How do you deal with blocks? And since Grabovoi is supposed to go to the subconscious mind directly, why the blocks in the first place? How do I deal with blocks? You know, for a really long time there, I didn't. And it was because I didn't realize that I was blocking myself a lot of the time. But now when there are blocks that come up, I just have to detach and like let go and allow for space to come in. Like creating space has been the best way for me to, I want to say like go around the issue or the block or whatever it is. Like it's almost like it reminds me of driving, right? Like if there's a circle in the middle of the road or there's like a barrier in the middle of the road, sometimes what you have to do is you're stopped at the barrier, right? But sometimes what you have to do is like back up and then stop and just kind of like get a view of what's going on and be like, oh, well, I could just go around this way. You know, like you just have to like take a step back and like let go of the situation that's directly in front of you and just open up your perspective a little bit more. In my experience lately, that's been helpful getting over blocks. So like detachment and just like releasing, creating space, taking a step back. Is it not reasonable nor effective as you use them and you're still wearing glasses? You know, I never really used them for my eyesight, so I don't know if it's reasonable or effective. I've only ever used them for sales. That was actually what I used them for, to make sales and make money, which they did when I did use them, help me make sales and make money. Do you have an absolute beginner's video of how to get started with journaling? Are there customizable codes? I only want two things, enough money to retire and I want my own home. Well, to my knowledge, there are not customizable codes, at least Grabovoi codes. I'm sure if you felt that there was a code that worked for you or like you truly believe in, then I'm sure it's going to work for whatever it is that you want to bring into your world. The absolute beginners video, like I mentioned earlier, I had a downloadable of like where I captured my process and I just offered it for $2. But it's really simple. You get a journal, you get a pen, you write down the codes and the manifestation that it is that you're looking to bring into your reality. And I would journal with it in addition to like writing the codes and the manifestations. That was about it. Pretty simple. Do you write the codes down and leave them on a wall or your car or your desk? Do you recite them like a prayer? Do you have a newbie training video? I do not have a newbie training video because literally all that you gotta do is like write them and believe in them and set an intention with them. Do I recite them? No. Do you write them down and leave them on a wall or in your car or in your desk? I leave them in my journal because I don't want to have numbers written all over my walls or my car or my desk. So that way they are contained in a space that I deem appropriate for them. Ooh, that one's interesting. I'm gonna suggest that if you're looking for codes, because I have a lot of people here in the comment section looking for marriage codes, I'm gonna suggest that you look online or you purchase a book from whoever has created these codes. I do not know what the code is. Again, I am merely a messenger. Okay, this is interesting. Once you're done with the notebook and your notebook is filled, what should you do with it now? Burn it, throw it, or something else? It depends. It's up to you. I typically store them away. I put them in a box and I put them like in my basement or something. And the reason why I do that is because I like to come back to my notebook. I like to come back to my journals, and I like to see what has come into my life through my journaling. Because, excuse me, my journaling is my manifestation. Like, me writing things down and me focusing on it is how I best manifest. And so I like to keep my journals because I think it's fun to go back and be like, wow, I actually got that in my life. Like, or there was this one time that I wanted to like manifest living abroad, and it was like back in like 2016. And then in 2018, I was living abroad. So it's really cool to me to just like go back in time and read through and be like, wow, I like brought that into my life. That's pretty cool. So I keep mine, but it's up to you what you want to do with it. If you want to burn it, by all means. If you want to throw it away, absolutely go for it. It's up to you what you want to do with it. I like to look back because I think it's really cool to like see how far you've come and to see what you've created. Do I have a wealth code or attracting money code? I have a video on 3 wealth codes or 3 money codes that you can use to call in more money. Oh, this is interesting. This person is a reflector. Their human design is a reflector. So is their doppelganger. As for manifesting things into my life, I have very different methods that all work. Some just work better than others. That's really cool. Probably because it has a lot to do with your environment, and because you're a reflector, you like soak up all of the energy from people around you, and like that has a lot to do with what environments that you're in, and that probably has to do with a lot of like how you manifest. So that's really cool. You are in the 1%. That is awesome. More questions about codes. Can you use more than one code at the same time? Yes. I want to attract a crush, lose weight, be lucky, and get money. Yeah, you can use multiple codes. That's fine. At least in my experience, you can. A lot of these other ones are thank you. Oh, I'm a manifesting generator with a sacral inner authority. That's cool. What manifestation tools will work best for me? Thank you. My suggestion is to look at the top right hand arrow on your chart. So there's gonna be like this, if this is like the head in your chart, in your human design chart, there's gonna be an arrow here, an arrow here, an arrow here, and an arrow here. You're gonna wanna look at the top right hand arrow, I believe, the one that's up here. And depending on which way it's going, it's going to determine if you are a specific manifester or a non-specific manifester. I want to say that specific is to, you know, don't quote me on it because I haven't looked at that arrow in a while. I've been doing a lot of looking at the environmental arrow, which is the bottom left arrow. So don't quote me on it, but depending on which way it is, if it's right, I want to say it's specific. And if it's right, I want to say it's non-specific. And if it's left, I want to say it's specific. So when you go into your manifestations, all that means is that you have to, you know, give a general idea of what it is that you're looking to manifest, or you have to be very specific with what it is that you're looking to manifest based on your human design. So again, just don't quote me on it because I honestly can't remember that arrow right now. I haven't looked at that upper one since like last year, but I do know that one direction is specific and the opposite direction is non-specific, and it's the arrow on the right side. Okay, that is probably, and of course, you know, like what tool out of being specific or non-specific, to me writing is always the best tool because you're like taking the time to associate thought with bringing it into an actual physical written thing. So like to me, I always think of Professor Umbridge when she has them in detention and she's like having them write out whatever word, and then it kind of just like etches itself in their skin. Like, to me, that's kind of like a tool. That's why I like writing the most, because it kind of like etches it into your brain. And then your brain in the RAS, the reticular activating system, like your brain will look for whatever it is that you're looking to manifest. So that is my suggestion. Do I have a list of codes? No, not anymore. Can I write a manifestation with a code included? Yes. That is actually my highly suggested way of using the codes. That is the way that I use the codes myself. This works. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. All right, so this was me going over all of the comments regarding Grabovoi codes that I have not yet gotten to. If your comment was answered, let me know down below. If you have more questions on human design or astrology or crystals or anything else, let me know. I think I'm going to be going in that direction. I think I'm going to get my Reiki certification. I think it's going to be a thing. And I hope you have a good night. Obviously, like, I just took a shower, so I'm getting ready for bed myself. But I was like, I kind of want to do this because why not? So stay tuned. I'm probably not going to be doing 2 super frequent videos, maybe like once every other week or maybe once a month. But it really depends on like how I'm feeling. I don't want to burn myself out like I have been known to do in the past. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.